Growing up, my dad was a raging alcoholic. It began at an early age. My dad coming home inebriated, not caring about us children. I have two beautiful sisters and a beautiful mother that she did the best she could with what she had at the moment. My dad left on a Greyhound bus and saying he'd be right back and never returned for 10 or 12 years. That definitely sparked a failure in my mind. I was abused, and that made me feel like I had no self-esteem, a failure where I did not belong to this, even in this world. It made me want to turn to my addiction and alcohol at a young age, and it made me think that I wasn't worth saving. It really made me think I wasn't worth anything. So that right there turned me away from God even more, because how could this loving God let his children be hurt like that? And so the older I got, the more I separated from my family. I turned to my addiction. My addiction took off when I was about 12 and never looked back. Out of high school, I met my wife. We had a child named Aaron III. I was in and out of his life. I was always living in the flesh. I was always running from fear, running from responsibilities, not facing like a man. I learned that from my biological father, and it was instilled in me that when things get tough, we run. And then the unthinkable thing happened. My son went missing in Tippecanoe River in Rochester, Indiana, June 15th of 2015. We found him June 19th. We had his funeral on Father's Day, June 23rd, 2015. That's when my life turned to the worst. And since then, I've been in and out of 10 rehabs in 10 years, chasing myself for 10 years. I felt like nobody really understood my pain, my agony, and my guilt, and my resentment I had on myself. And so that's when I turned to my addiction, to numb everything inside of me. All I did was I did not want to feel nothing. January 12th of this year, I'll never forget, I was sitting on a couch in my addiction, and I said, there's got to be something better than this. This is not my purpose. There has to be a purpose for Aaron. There's got to be something better. So I get to the valley. My first week there, I went in the scout's office. He said, what brought you here? And I said, the grief of my son, the loss of my son. And at that moment, I was crying, just sobbing. I asked him to give me a minute if I could go outside. I took off walking, and when I get down to the end of the driveway, there's no place to walk. There's just no place to walk. I was at the end of my road. I was at the end of the road where there was no alcohol, there was no gambling, there was no friends. I was all alone, finally, for the first time, and had to face this because I've been so used to running my whole life. I couldn't run no more. I was finally done running. When I turned around and I fell to my knees and asked God to take this away, root and branch. And he did. But Jesus picked me up off that road that day. He truly did. Something transformed. Something happened on that driveway to where Jesus Christ laid his hands on me, laid his hands on my heart. He laid his hands on my mind, and he told me I had purpose. Now, what are we going to do about it? As I get dropped off here at the mission, I'm like, I can do this. This is where God has me. I have a purpose in this building, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I have a place to come to. I'm grateful that there's hot water here. I'm grateful I can wash my laundry. I'm grateful there's food here. I got to know all these people here. I always smiled. I prayed for people. I woke up every morning at 6 a.m. and hit the chapel and read my proverb every morning. I did that. Then people started coming to join me. You have purpose here. You're here, there's a divine appointment for you to be here. The way I made room at the Mission for Jesus was that I surrounded myself by like-minded people. God had me in this ministry for a reason, to be a light in a somewhat dark place. So I have personally found myself in discipleship class, Celebrate Recovery, Sunday mornings, wherever that looks like, where I can be the hands and feet of Jesus, there Aaron is. What Christmas means to me is the gift that God gave us. The best gift was Jesus, to come and take the sin away from the world. That Christmas is not about presents. It's not about the food. It's about Jesus giving us salvation and Jesus giving us compassion and mercy for allowing us to even be here. That's what Christmas means to me.